Ladies and gentlemen, now today in Marvel Contest of Champions, we had a bit of a mid-month surprise that wasn't a server crash. So today, by all standards, was a reasonable win. We have a brand new celebrity challenge, kind of in the lead up to Ant-Man 2. So we've got Evangeline Lilly's champion challenge here, and I've completed it across both accounts now. So the main account, the free-to-play account, and hopefully by the time this video is going live, both of those are available on demand if you want to have a look at the runs and see exactly how we did across both of them. On the main account, I didn't spend any revives or anything, but on the free-to-play account, we spent about 7, but we had some really bad evade RNG, man. It was just so silly, and a couple of silly deaths as well. So yeah, just some super fun stuff there, but overall, I don't really think that this challenge is as hard as the two previous ones we've had. So this year we've had the Killmonger one, the Michael B. Jordan one, and also the Chadwick and Tom's Champion Challenge for Infinity War as well. I thought both of those are a little bit harder to deal with this one. However, this one kind of is about having, ideally, some specific characters to make this challenge like really easy. And if you have those characters, then it's going to be very straightforward. But ladies and gentlemen, before we talk about, who are some of the best characters for this challenge, we're going to explain exactly what's going on, because this one is a little bit different to other challenges, because there are a couple of global nodes, which are new and have just been added to the game for the purpose of this challenge. So we're going to go ahead and check them out before we get onto the champion list, so you guys kind of understand where we're coming from here. So the first thing is that absolutely everybody, it's a global node in the final chapter, and we're going to be talking about chapter 4 here, and also chapter 3 as well has this node. So every single character has Ant-Man's awakened ability on a node. It's called Particle Protector, so that any hit has a 35% chance to glance attacks. Glancing hits cannot be critical, deal 50% reduced damage, and suffer 100% offensive ability reduced accuracy. So it means you can't get stuff like bleed off on a glancing hit, for example. So yeah, basically every character is awakened Ant-Man that also damages back a portion of the damage that you deal on that glancing hit as well. And I imagine right now you're like, oh, it's all doom and gloom. However, ladies and gentlemen, Kabam, in their generosity, have given us a few ways to bypass it. And the biggest one being the extra large champions. So depending on the size category of your character, you'll be able to bypass certain elements of the glancing with certain attacks. So extra large champions, which are kind of around the Hulk size, can fully bypass all glancing. So become incredibly valuable. So it's really those XL champions are top tier. Large champions, their special attacks, intercepts and heavy attacks cannot be glanced. Medium champions, intercepts and heavy attacks can't be glanced. Small champions, it's just the heavy attacks. So with any size champion, it's the only the heavy attacks that can't be glanced, but the bigger your champion gets, the more stuff that can't be glanced. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff there, but it's mainly the big characters that you're going to look for. And there's also this additional node, which really serves one character very well, and it's called Bulk Up. So while the attacker is charging a heavy attack, they rapidly gain Fury effects that increase their attack by 1%. These Fury effects can stack up to 200 and are removed upon taking damage. But really, there's only one character that's using that, and that character is Quake. And apart from that, there's nothing else really that interesting. If you get hit by a special attack, you're going to get heal blocked, but that's mainly it. So you've got every champion having Ant-Man's awakened ability, and depending on the size of your character, depends on whether or not you can bypass that or not. So now you're aware of all the super fun stuff that is going to be going on in this challenge. In terms of the global node, you need to build a team that can specifically deal with it. It's not really your traditional characters that you want to bring in. It's quite an odd mix of champions. There are a couple of gold tiers among the top dons here, but Archangel is an absolute god for this challenge. He is so incredibly good. Every single fight, apart from the final Ant-Man, he can just get down in absolutely seconds. And one of the very important things to note as well is that even on the final path, champions have about half the health that they did in the previous challenges. So the champions on the final path, I don't think any of them go higher than about 70,000, 80,000 health. And Sometimes in challenges like this, you get characters of like 140k, 160k. So yeah, it's really nothing to worry about when it comes to the final lane being really high health there. So yeah, Archangel cleans up. Hyperion spamming heavy attacks and special attacks cleans up as well. Red Hulk is an XL champion. Really good for this. Absolute MVP. Hulk as well on the free-to-play account. I was running with a rank 4 level 40 Hulk. It's a 4-star champion. Keeping kind of between like 10 and 30% health, and having to, you know, heal up occasionally, but, a really good option for dealing with this. We also have Gladiator Hulk, who is one of the newer Hulk characters, who's really good for this as well. We've also got MODOK, who's one of the bigger boys and just has a ton of damage on him. And you can just, you know, play any one of the XL champions just completely normally. So such a huge advantage there. And then we have a couple more XL in the form of Kingpin and also Sentinel, who are some pretty decent options to bring. Maybe Kingpin is a little bit lacking in comparison to, a few of the other characters, but he's not too bad, man. He'll have a little bit of damage output there. And then finally, we have Quake. Now, one of the things to bear in mind is that the majority of opponents will have stun reduction. I believe every single one of them does, actually, of 10% whenever you parry, and the final Ant-Man has 20%. But because of the amount of attack that you're gaining when charging a heavy attack, combined with also how low all of the health pools are, like if you've got fairly stacked Quake, she'll work well if you can play fairly decently, but again, you know, you need to be quite a good Quake player to pull it off here because of the stun reduction duration. But yeah, those are some of my highest recommended options. But if you do not have any of these characters, it's maybe a good idea to just bring another XL champion, or just fit as many as you can into your team, just because with any XL champions, it's just like you have absolutely no mechanics to worry about. You can bypass like Captain America World War II and Ant-Man's like natural glancing as well, which just makes the characters like really like effective and easy to use, and there's nothing like too ridiculous going on in terms of the opponents. So the additional XL champions, we've got Dormammu. Dormammu's got the power control. That's why I moved him down a little bit, because a lot of the fights you just want to bait out the special one and just rinse and repeat that for the majority of them, and not have to worry about taking too much block damage. But Dormammu, he's alright. Juggernaut, he's alright. Hulkbuster, alright for this challenge. Joe Fixit, Rhino, Venom, Venom-Paul, Groot, King Groot. So yeah, you just want to pack your team with as many of those additional XL champions as you possibly can. And then I've also got some potentially good champions that maybe bring a little bit to the mix, or in terms of their abilities, you know, add something extra. Like Wolverine, we got a bit of the regeneration there to cover some of the damage taken. Crossbones, his Furies will reduce the glancing procs there. I've also got Blade, who kind of worked alright for me as a 5-star in certain fights, if you can get a lot of the damage off the bleed. X-23, I imagine him to be okay as well. Dr. Voodoo for some of the skill fights, like you can get a bit of regeneration at the start to mitigate some of the damage taken last fight, and then switch to the 50% ability accuracy reduction stance, and yeah, just stun and then hit in, and the chance to the opponent glancing is going to be significantly reduced there. Void, a lot of the damage can come from his debuffs, so he doesn't take too much, plus he's got a pretty big health pool, especially if you got the Killmonger synergy as well. And then like an Awakened Black Widow should mitigate some of the glancing as well, so potentially good characters there. But really, the if you have like one of these top dons, just focus on that character for the entire thing, to be honest. But one of the things to keep in mind is Archangel will not work for the final Ant-Man, but he works for every single other fight. And yeah, all of those characters pretty much work for Ant-Man as well. But anyway, let's quickly talk about the fights and the nodes and everything that you need to be aware of. So when it comes to the final path, which is the hardest one, which we're going to be looking at, so we have Falcon here, who has Enhanced Special 1. So Special 1 deals 30% more damage and cannot be blocked. So what you need to do is just make sure that you get back, just block it. Like it's only the first hit where it kind of kicks his leg up that is unblockable, so you don't need to worry about that too much, and also has 10% limber as well. So nothing too special there on Falcon. Again, similar thing with Hawkeye, but this Hawkeye also has Strike Back as well, so be very careful throwing special attacks into the Hawkeye here, but 10% limber all the same. And then we have Stark Enhanced Spider-Man, who has Cornered, so if he is suffering from a A debuff, he's going to gain 200% more power, so this is interesting and important to note if you're bringing a character like Hyperion into the mix, and also has Limber as well. And then we have Black Widow, who Archangel is just the MVP for, because he's going to reliably get the stuns off Black Widow. She is double power gain, so if you don't have a champion like Archangel and you're just using Hulk like I did on my free-to-play, you just want to get out, just continually bait the special one over and over again with that power fuel. It's so easy to do, and then you don't need to worry about relying on the stuns or parries or blocks there. But I guess the you know, two important things to potentially look out for or be aware of is that Stark Spidey and Black Widow both have a very small chance to evade, and sometimes that will just completely screw you over. So yeah, just keep that in mind, because I had that on the free-to-play account several times. And then we have Captain America Infinity War, who just has Limber. This dude is so easy to fight if you've got an XL champion, because you're not going to get his glancing as well. Just bait the special one, win the video game. Such an easy fight to deal with. And then we have the final Ant-Man, ladies and gentlemen, who is bleed immune, so keep that in mind, and also has a 20% Limber, so maybe Quake is not the best option for this final Ant-Man here. Like on the main account I used Red Hulk for this, and on the free-to-play account we used just the regular Hulk. So yeah, just get an XL character and just continually bait out the special one. Like, there is nothing too special, too unique about this Ant-Man, and again, if you are using an XL champion, like his awakened ability isn't going to proc at all, you're not going to have to deal with glancing. So very oddly, the node that gives XL champions the ability to bypass it really actually works in your favor as well. So that's pretty cool to bear in mind. But ladies and gentlemen, apart from that, it really is as simple as just make sure you have the right champions, right setup, bring some XL champions, bring an Archangel, bring a Hyperion, maybe a Quake as well if you fancy it, and this challenge is in the bin, mate. It's done. So yeah, I quite like this challenge, man. It was a little bit different, a little bit fun. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below. Firstly, if you have any other champion recommendations, if any characters worked really well for you during this challenge, and also, secondly, what you think of the challenge overall as a whole. Did you like this one for being a little bit different? You know, I quite enjoyed them kind of like switching up the meta a little bit, and encouraging people to use champions that they may not have necessarily instinctively gone for first, so I kind of like that. And just also a very important thing to keep in mind as well, if you want to go for a Legends run, is that the Legends run for this event is active for the entire duration of it, so July 18th. So yeah, if you want to be ideally super competitive for that Legends run, make sure you wait until like the last couple of weeks ideally, just to see if like any new crazy strategies come out. But if I was going for a Legends run, I would use Archangel for every single fight apart from the Ant-Man, and I would use Red Hulk for that fight. That's probably what I'd go for in terms of one of the quickest and easiest ways to do it. I think Hyperion as well, as substitute for Archangel, could work there. But just make sure, yeah, you have like a really strong bursty champion to deal with everything, and then also a solution for Ant-Man as well. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed today's video guide. If it helped you out, gave you some tips and tricks, feel free to smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. But apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and have an absolutely fantastic day.